In this video, we're going to put together a small project. It's going to be a pure CSS3 drop-down, and you can see it's very simple, but it does use quite a bit of the different features we've been using in this section. It uses rounded corners, gradients, box shadows, pseudo classes, and transitions. So you can see we have 3 tabs: web design, web programming, and graphic design. And if I go ahead and click on one, you can see that it does a transition, gives us a drop down. We have a couple different items here, HTML and CSS, and then we have some links underneath those. Alright, if I click web programming, you can see it has a different background color. We have front end and back end, graphic design, different background color, graphics, and 3D animation. Alright, so that's what we'll be doing. What we're going to do is we just need an index.html and a style.css file. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up index.html, and we're just going to put our HTML structure in here. We'll give it a title, say drop down, and let's go ahead and link that CSS file. It's going to be a style sheet, and style.css. And inside the body, we're going to use a nav tag here, and let's give it a class of menu. Okay, and inside the nav, we'll have our UL, and we'll have a couple LIs. And let's put in a link here. And we're going to set this to go to $A. And this is going to be web design. Alright, and inside the LI, we're going to put a div. And then let's put a horizontal rule. And then some strong tags, and this will be the HTML. Okay, HTML, that's just text, that's not a link. We'll have the links after it, which are just going to go nowhere. And we'll say basic HTML, and then after that let's put a pipe character and then another link. And we'll say HTML5. Okay, then we'll just copy this whole thing right here, paste that in, and this will change to CSS. And here we'll put CSS3 and then CSS animation. Alright, so that's the format for all of our list items. So we're going to copy that, paste it 2 more times. Okay, this one will be B, and this one will be C. But we also want to add an ID to the LIs. So this will be A. That way we can give them different background colors and stuff. And if you want, you can do different widths and heights. So that'll be B, and then this one will be C. Alright, so if we save that, let's go ahead and open up that index page. Okay, so that's what it looks like now with absolutely no CSS. So let's just change up the text here. This one will be web programming, and we'll change HTML to front end. Let's see, we're going to do here, we'll say JavaScript and jQuery. This one will be backend, and we'll do Node.js and PHP. Okay, and then this last one here will be graphic design. I'll change this here to graphics. say Photoshop, Illustrator, and then this one will be 3D animation. For that we'll have InDesign and Flash. Okay, so there's our HTML menu. Now we're going to open up the CSS page. And let's start with the body. I just want to give it a light gray background. Okay, and then we'll have our menu class. And we're going to set a width to 600 pixels. And we're also going to make the position absolute. Okay, then we want the UL that's in that menu. And for that, we just want to take the bullets off, so it's going to be list style none. Then we have the LIs themselves. So this is going to be quite a few styles here. We're going to say background. That's going to be a light gray as well. And we're going to set a border. Let's say 1 pixel solid. That's going to be a grayish color too. And we want to display as a block. And since we're displaying as a block, we want it to float. So I'm going to say float left. And let's set the font to bold, 12 pixels, and Arial. We're going to set a height of 40 pixels and also a line height of 40 pixels, so it's in the middle. We'll set the overflow to hidden so nothing overlaps. Let's set padding, padding left. I'm going to set that to 15 pixels, and then we also want this position to be absolute. We're going to set a width of each list item to be 135 pixels, and let's set the Z index, which will make it make sure that they're on top. So we'll just set that to 10,000. And let's see, now we can add a box shadow. So we'll do 0 pixels, 3 pixels, we'll do a blur of 5 pixels, and then we'll make it a grayish color. And I also want to do a gradient here, a light gradient. So linear gradient, and we'll say top white, and that'll start at 0%, and then we'll have a gray at 50%, another grayish color at 51, and then F6 3 times at 100%. Okay, so just gives us a light linear gradient. Alright, so that should be good for that. Now when we hover, we want it to have a different gradient as well. So I'm going to copy this, copy that line, and paste it in here, except this is going to be hover, so we're going to use the pseudo class hover. And I just want to change this up slightly. I'm going to change this to F4s, and this one will be ED instead of E1. Keep the percentages the same, and then this last one will be all white. Okay, so that's menu ULLI hover. Now for the first one, we want the border radius to be round. So we're going to use the pseudo class first child. So menu ULLI first child. And let's set border radius, and we want to do top 4 pixels, 0, 0, 4 pixels. And then the last child, let's copy that, and we'll go ahead and change this to last. So the last child, we're going to just switch these up. That'll be 0. This will be 4. This will be 4. And this will be 0. So if we go ahead and save that and reload, you can see that it doesn't look too good yet. We can actually only see the last tab. What we need to do here is we're going to add some margin on each individual one. So let's say menu, we'll do menu UL LI with the ID of B, which is the second one. We're going to give a margin left of 150 pixels. Okay, so now you can see that that is pushed over, and we can now see the second tab. We're going to do the same thing for the next one. Let's copy that and change this to C. And then this one has to be double this one, which is going to be 300. Save that, reload, and now we can see all 3 tabs. Next, we want to style the links inside. So we're going to say menu UL LI A for the A tags. And let's say display block. And I want to take the underline away, so we're going to do text decoration none. And let's say color. Go like that. Save it, reload, and now the links look a little better. Alright, now for the div inside. So menu, it's going to be UL LI div. We're going to text align to the left, and let's say font is going to be normal, 11 pixels Arial. Line height is going to be 19 pixels, and then we're going to add a margin, which will be 10 on the top and bottom and 0 on the right and left. Alright, now the div is the drop down content, which we can't see yet. Okay, even if we click on this, we can't see that yet. Alright, so let's now do the links inside the div. So I'm just going to grab this and just add an A on the end. And we just want these to display inline. Okay, and then for the hover, so we'll say A hover. Then I'm going to add an underline, so text decoration underline. Alright, now for the horizontal rule, we're also going to style those. So we want div A, let's see, no, not A, just div HR, like that. And we're going to set border to be none. And then we'll set border top to be 1 pixel. Dotted, and then for the color we're going to say A0, like that. Alright, and then we're going to add a margin of 5 pixels 0, and then set the width to almost the whole thing. We're going to say 95%. Okay, so now we need the LI when we hover over it, the target. So menu UL LI hover, and then we're going to say target. Alright, so for here we want to say display, and now we're going to inherit its container for display, and we're going to set the padding to 0. We'll set the height to be 155 and the width to be 200. And let's say padding left will be 15 pixels. And I'm going to give it an opacity of 0.97, so just a little bit. And then the transition, we'll set height, and for the duration we'll do 0.4s, and we'll ease it in. Okay, so this is for the drop down. Alright, so let's save that, and now you can see we get the transition. Looks good. So I just want to add a background color to each one. So what we can do is just say menu ul li, and then we need the ID. So this one will be A, and that's only going to be when we hover over the target. So we'll set background, and let's set that to F0F, F0F, 9FF. And that should do the background just for the first one. So then we'll just copy that, paste it in 2 more times. This one will be B, and we'll change the color up a little. You can make it to whatever you'd like. Go like that, and then the last one here, that's going to be C, and we'll change this to F8, FF, E8, and then that should give us a separate background color. There we go. Alright, so we now have our pure CSS drop-down menu. No JavaScript, nothing like that. So hopefully you enjoyed this small project, and I'll see you in the next